So A15, last part of this here, let's take a look at A15. And A15 is an even better ATM. It's an object-oriented ATM assignment. So you're going to go back. You're going to use a lot of that code that you wrote before for the regular ATM assignment. But now, what we're going to do is we're going to use a class structure that looks like this. Okay, so you will create a bank account class, a parent class called bank account. It will be generic, but it will have the ability to deposit, withdraw, check the balance, and it will carry the balance and the name of the account as properties. Okay, so these are the methods in red. These are the properties below that. Okay, now, once you've created this as a parent class, you will create a checking account child class that is based on that, and it will extend the parent class with the method write check and the property check number. I know most of you have never written a check in your entire life, and you may not have even seen a check in person. I don't know. It's a different world we live in, right? But one thing checks always have on them is a sequential number. When you write a check, in the upper corner of the check, you'll see a number, and that number for each subsequent check that you write increments by one. So it starts out at 1,000, the next one's 1,001, and so on. So your checking account will need to keep track of each check that you write according to its check number. And each time you write a check, you are both going to withdraw from the account and you will increment the check number. Okay, so that's how those classes of properties and methods are going to impact the properties and methods of the parent. In savings, if you want to push it a little further, this is a bonus challenge. The savings can either be just inheriting the bank account properties, or as savings accounts do, you can have it accrue interest. So I'll let you figure out how you want to do that if you want to take on that challenge. But a savings account, typically each month you get a little tiny bit of extra money at the end of the month, which is your interest on the amount you have in that account. Okay, so it's a percentage. It's a fraction of a percentage of what's in there. So that is the ATM assignment for A15. I'm not going to give you a lot of sample code because, frankly, all the code that we have in the EPED assignment, with the fruit stand stuff, with the stuff that we've built in class so far, and the code that's posted to Canvas, there's plenty there for you to reverse engineer and figure out how to create a bank account as well as a checking and a savings account child classes. So I want you to create the child classes, and then once you're done with that, I want you to wrap that in a menu structure that actually uses those classes to create a functional ATM simulation program. Now, I will say this, once you've created the class structure, you can still use almost all of your previous logic from the previous ATM assignment, because the menu structure, the choices, the actions, the flow of the program is going to be very similar. The difference is, instead of acting on those variables directly, as you did before, you are going to be putting those actions through the class structure and the objects that you create in the program. So that's really the only difference. In my mind, a really robust program allows people to add multiple checking accounts, multiple savings accounts. And so you might want to keep those in a list or a collection object. I'm going to let you decide how to implement this. This is really sort of the toughest assignment in the class as far as I'm concerned. Okay, this is probably the highest level thinking that we're going to do. Not that the next 4 projects are significantly easier, but you're really coming up with a lot of stuff from scratch here, from your own brain. So that's the whole idea of this, and I do want to stretch you a little bit here as we near the end of the class. And then next week, when we come back, we're going to start out with some stuff that I think is a lot more fun and just sort of a lot more playing around and experimentation and a lot less structure, let's just say.